Hello and welcome to a special three-part series on machine vision in conjunction with Zebra Technologies. Today we're at Clearview with Mr. Allan Anderson. Clearview are a key distributor for Zebra Technologies and host the Centre of Excellence here. So Allan, my first question, machine vision, there's many different types of technology. Can you break down the main types of machine vision technologies currently used in industrial environments?
Yeah, absolutely. So it ranges from automating to inspecting to pass-fail of parts. But let me walk you through the different applications that we've got in our Centre of Excellence, and we can go through the different variations. So here we see a really nice example of how advanced inspection can be used in manufacturing. So the scenario we've got here is we're using 3D imaging to do some metrology, to do some 3D measurement of a part that's being produced. And a few years ago, something like this would have been really difficult to achieve. So there's a couple of things that have happened in the last few years to make something like this easier. The hardware that's used here, so a laser triangulation device, is more affordable and is in a kind of mainstream. But then you've got the software that's bringing everything together. And so Zebra have some really nice hardware and software tools that are allowing complex manufacturing inspections like this to be solvable on the factory floor. So what we're doing here is we're doing a full 3D measurement of a part, and we're checking the peaks and troughs to make sure that the tolerances are correct. In addition to that, we're taking the 3D data, and then we're even doing character recognition and verification. So we're not just doing 3D. So a few years ago, these kind of things would have been really difficult. 3D, incredibly complex, incredibly expensive to do that. Now that's not the case. You know, technology is not the barrier to entry here to make something as sophisticated as this. It's all very accessible and doable. The next example we've got here is showcasing something that on the face of it looks really simple. So we're doing barcode validation, verification, but then character validation, verification. So typical industries that want to do this would be food and bev, transport logistics, that want to track and trace the packages that are going through a facility. And you want to make sure that from a legislation point of view, whether that's pharma or food and bev, that things are labelled correctly. So the interesting thing here is that you've got verification on the barcode side in a very compact piece of hardware, low cost, easy to deploy. On the right hand side you see deep learning OCR that has made deploying of OCR, advanced OCR, really simple out of the box. So that's something that kind of Zebra have pioneered, and we're very lucky to have technology like this that's able to solve OCR and verification problems in a really simplistic way. So highlighting the power of AI and how that can be deployed on a factory floor simplistically in a reduced time without having to spend months and months creating complex vision systems. Another interesting example of how vision can be deployed, in this case it's kind of the food arena, and we're using AI to inspect and classify different pieces of food, in this case muffins. Historically, this would have been really challenging to do, but we're utilising the power of AI to train a system that intelligently knows that each one of those muffins is a different type. So if you're on the manufacturing line and you want to be able to get feedback on the data to make sure that you're manufacturing the right thing at the right time, something like this a few years ago would have been incredibly complex. But AI allows us to train systems in quite a simplistic way and create really nice solutions like this.
So that's really good, and we've got an overview there. Now, what environments or applications are these types most suited to?
Yeah, so it really depends on the industries, but the applications are really varied. So it can go all the way from pharmaceutical, food and beverage, hardcore manufacturing, transport and logistics, and lots of other examples like that. So very wide range of usage. And then within those different sectors, you can have lots of different applications that are covering the different things that they all want to achieve.
Right, understood. Now, AI, it's a buzzword, it's being used extensively. How does it actually enhance machine vision on the factory floor?
Yeah, I think it's both making things easier. So things like character verification that could be traditionally quite complicated, AI has made that more accessible and easier to deploy, all the way through to things like food sorting, food inspection, very, very difficult to do with traditional methods. AI has made applications like that a bit more addressable and able to actually resolve the problems that food manufacturers have.
So Alan, I'm going to ask you to look ahead now. In terms of machine vision, how do you see it evolving? Because we've got a huge, broad digital transformation happening in the industrial arena. How do you see machine vision being part of that?
Yeah, in the UK we have different issues that we're trying to tackle. So whether it's productivity, machine vision can help with that. There's also things like legislation issues, pharmaceutical, food and bev, where you have labelling issues, you don't want to mislabel something. So in simplistic terms, machine vision can help in those. But in broader terms, you're looking at allowing manufacturers to be more efficient, to get a better return on investment on their manufacturing process. Vision can help give those insights to drive manufacturers to reduce waste, for example, which is also feeding into sort of being more eco-minded, less scrappage, less waste, but then making manufacturing more efficient and cost-effective. And then taking your labour force and not necessarily getting rid of it, actually making them more efficient in different ways, deploying them in different parts of the line. So vision doesn't have to take away jobs in that sense. It can help make things more efficient and allow a workforce to be armed and focused on different elements of the manufacturing line.
Yeah, now that's a really positive insight, and I appreciate the explanation that you've put on that of how things can develop. Now we're going to look at what machine vision can do on the factory floor in terms of performance. That's going to be part of our next video. So thank you very much for what you've given us so far today. Do check out the next video. The link will be on the bottom of the screen.